Stock slip after a steady start ahead of FNO expiry amid slim overseas cues with US market short for Thanksgiving. IT and auto are the big drags even as utilities, energy eke out gains. Godrej Properties floats a rupees 6,000 crore QIP priced at a significant discount, joining its peers in beefing up coffers for growth. The realty major has launched pipeline of around 30,000 crores for FY25. Moody's upgrades the credit rating for Vedanta's parent Vedanta Resources on the back of successful liability management and growing investor confidence in the group. The stock perks up on the Q. Hudco signs up NBCC to develop its 10-acre land parcel in Noida. Natco Pharma nets rupees 116 crores for over 14 acres of unused land, while Borosil transfers tenancy rights in Worli for around 13 crore rupees. Hello, good afternoon. You've tuned to Business Lunch on CNBC-TV18 and I'm Vinny Motiwala. Look at the markets because we've seen them fall from the day's highest point, and now the market, look at the Nifty, it's trading almost near that day's lowest point as of now, 23,989. So that's the day's low that we're seeing. The Nifty is what it's trading at, down more than 1% in trade. Sensex too is trading with cuts of almost 1% in trade as well. Nifty mid and small cap today, they are outperforming the benchmark indices. They were holding on to green before some time. Let's just pull that Nifty mid and small cap. So yes, Nifty mid cap just holding on to some bit of a gain even for the day, while small cap also is just around that gain mark, slight bit of that negative positive bias. Flip-flopping between the red and the green is what the Nifty mid-cap is doing, though outperforming the benchmark indices is what you could say. Let's move on, talk about the Nifty Bank. That is also seeing a bit of a pressure coming in today. Nifty Bank was a bit in the red that we're seeing, down 0.6%, while PSU Banks, that's gaining for the fifth consecutive day. So different story coming in there. Fifth consecutive trading session of gain for the Nifty PSU Bank. IT, that's the top laggard of the day today, second consecutive day of fall. Do not forget that Nifty IT before that had seen gains coming in. So today, Nifty IT continues to be under pressure. Adani Group stocks, they are the ones trading in the green today. Adani Green, Adani Total Gas or Adani Energy Solutions. Any of them that you look at it, they're managing to hold on to some bit of a green. Also in terms of movers on the back of news flow, Hudco, NBCC, KC International, IOB as well as Ashoka Buildcon. Those are the ones that are managing to some bit of a move and holding on to this gain because of some news flow that we've seen around coming in through the day. On the brokerage radar, today we had two important stocks. Paytm, that was in focus after UBS has raised its target price. So that is gaining in trade. But on the other hand, we have Goldman Sachs that's downgraded Amber Enterprises to a neutral, and we've seen the stock fall in trade. So yes, that's how the market is looking like. Obviously, that FNO expiry is what everyone's keeping an eye on. We've seen a lot of volatility today in the Nifty, opened up in the green, and then as of now, at the day's lowest point. But even in this volatile market, ace investor Madhu Kela of MK Ventures is still seeing pockets of opportunity on the street. Listen into what he believes are the promising and investable sectors that are going to go, and he's looking at going ahead as well.
You look at the CDMO business, right? It is roughly $200 billion worldwide. And there is a breakup of what is there in India right now. It is only $7 billion out of $200 billion. It's projected to go to $300 billion. These are data even before that. So I'm just saying India is anyway going from 7 to 14. But mind you, China is projected to go from 25 billion to roughly $45 billion. If some amount of that incremental growth also comes to India, let's say if you are able to garner $7 billion of more business, then an industry like this can grow maybe 300%. This is here to stay now because this has become commercially viable. This is not based on subsidy. We are not talking of solar power or wind power 10 years back, wherein substantial amount of subsidy was needed for them to become viable. They have become viable on their own. I repeat again, I remain extremely positive. I think energy transition is a very powerful theme and it is going to last for next 10-20 years. I think semiconductor, we are still at an early stage. It's a medium to long term, I would say, that theme to play minimum 3 to 6 years. I can't see imminently any company really benefiting a lot in the next 3 years out of the semiconductor boom in India. We have a very constructive, thematic view on this sector. Total Indian liquor industry's profit, listed companies and including Pernod Ricard, is only $500 million. Take for example Uttar Pradesh. Their excise revenue used to be 8,000 crores in year 2011-12. It went to 17,000 crores in year 2017-18. Last year it was 50,000 crores. It used to be 5% of UP's budget. Now it is 10%. Because the government has come out clean, they have cleaned up the whole industry and the state is benefiting. So it's a very big thematic call for us, and we are well invested. As a matter of disclosure, I must say we are well invested in this sector. I am a big believer in the capability of the group. I am invested and I have bought more in this fall. I want to be making very clear that, and these kind of events, in a large corporate life, this kind of events will happen. And I frankly do not see the reason for this level of panic because of the case which is being pointed out.
Okay, and now let's move on to the insurance sector. Now, sources are telling CNBC-TV18 that, we are seeing some bit of insurance regulator is concerned about the share of the business that they are gaining from bank insurance channels. Yash is joining in with us to give us more details on that. Yash?
Well, Vinny, very recently, of course, we heard the finance minister as well as the IRDA chairman speaking about the concern on mis-selling or forced selling through banks or bank insurance channel as far as insurance products are concerned. What we've been given to understand from our sources is that mis-selling or forced selling is not the only aspect which concerns the insurance regulator. It is also the concentration of business which insurance companies are having as far as banks are concerned, something which is concerning the regulator at this point of time. What we've been given to understand is the essential concern is that if potentially something goes wrong with any of the banks, then it could impact the business of the insurance company. And if that happens, then of course policyholders of the insurance company as well as shareholders of the listed ones could get impacted. What we've been given to understand with respect to what the regulator is doing about it, they've asked the insurance companies to gradually reduce the share of banks or bank assurance as a part of their total business. That is one thing. The second thing is that they've also asked these insurance companies to reduce the share of their parent bank as a part of the total bank assurance business. As far as the total share of the bank business of total business is concerned, IRDA seems to be of the view that it should be less than 50% of the total business. Also, as I said, the share of parent banks needs to come down. What we've been given to understand is that the IRDAI, which is the insurance regulator, is expected to monitor the situation in terms of bank share over the next few months. If it does not come out, then the regulator could also look at providing a glide path to the industry in terms of bringing down the total share of banks business as a part of the individual APE to less than 50%. The second one, also the IRDA would monitor and could consider putting a cap in terms of the share of the parent bank as a part of the total bank insurance business. Just to give some numbers in terms of what is the share of banks business into insurance companies, HDFC Life gets 65% of its individual APE through banks, SBI Life gets 58%, Max Life gets 52%, ICICI Prudential at 29% and LIC at 3%. These numbers are for H1 FY25. Now, what is more concerning is the share of parent banks business as a part of the bank insurance business. For SBI Life, that stands at 95%. HDFC Life through HDFC Bank stands at about 80 to 85%. For Max Life through Axis Bank, that stands at about 90%. ICICI Prudential through ICICI Bank stands at about 50%.
Okay, Yash, thank you so much for that update coming in there. So sources are telling us that RDAI is showing that they are concerned about concentration of insurers, a business dependence on bank assurance. So keep an eye on that. Thanks for that. But let's move on time for Fin Street segment. Abhishek is standing by the wall to discuss the pain in the books of lenders in microfinance sector and how H2 FY25 is looking for them. Over to you, Abhishek.
In May of 2024, CNBC-TV18 had alerted viewers about the pain in the books of lenders in the microfinance sector. The pain is more evident in their numbers now and is expected to continue in the near term, or let's say next couple of quarters. So from May of 2024 to now, most of the lenders have given negative returns versus positive return that you are seeing on Nifty. Lenders have seen their stock price correct from as low as 28% to as high as 60% in the last few months versus Nifty gain of nearly 5.5%. So from the data, one can clearly see decline in their growth rate, while asset quality has deteriorated, leading to rising credit cost. So credit cost for most of the players in the microfinance sector is generally on the higher side, given the fact that when their asset quality deteriorates, the recovery chances are really very low. So write-offs have to be on the higher side to make up for the same. AUM growth rate has declined for most of the lenders like Credit Access Grameen, Spandana Spurti, ISAF SFB, Satin Credit Care. Now, growth has been weak for lenders like Fusion Microfinance, Suryodaya Small Finance Bank, as well as Ujjivan Small Finance Bank. Asset quality continued to deteriorate for last 4 quarters in a row. The pain is expected to continue. Hence, NPAs have not yet bottomed out. Asset quality has deteriorated the highest for Fusion Microfinance, Spandana Spurti, Utkarsh Small Finance Bank, and even the best lender, Credit Access Grameen, has seen its gross NPA nearly double in H1 FY25 over FY24 numbers. Slippages were massive for lenders in H1 FY25. Some of the lenders have already made higher write-offs, which has impacted their provisions, but kept a bit of control in the deterioration of their asset quality. Return ratios have depleted for most of the lenders, while some of them, like Fusion Microfinance, have reported net loss for 2 quarters in a row. Now, analysts and management do say that asset quality will see further pain in the near future, at least for next couple of quarters. Hence, you can expect credit costs to remain elevated for most of the players in this segment. Credit cost is generally high in the events of defaults, given the fact that recovery is on the lower side in this segment. Over-leveraging had been a great concern highlighted in May 24 by CNBC-TV18. Many lenders have now given details with respect to over-leveraging of their customers. You can expect the AUM growth rate to be under pressure for some of the lenders as over-leveraging of customer reduces. Stock price have seen underperformance with respect to benchmark indices. Earnings pressure could keep a tab on their valuations.
Okay, thank you so much for that, Abhishek. But on that note, we're going to slip into a very short break. But don't go anywhere, because after the break, we will return and talk about the suspense over the next chief minister in Maharashtra is likely to end today. And stay tuned in for more details on that front. Good afternoon and welcome back. You're watching Business Lunch on CNBC-TV18. Let's continue. And the deadlock over the next chief minister in Maharashtra is likely to be resolved today. The caretaker CM Eknath Shinde, along with other Mahayuti leaders, are flying to New Delhi to discuss the government formation. We have Santya, who's joining in with us to give us more details on the big political developments. Santya.
So the suspense over Maharashtra's ongoing political saga, Kaun Banega Mukhyamantri, continues. Though the statement made by the outgoing Chief Minister Eknath Shinde on Wednesday has provided some clarity, but the final decision is yet to be made. Yesterday, while speaking to the media, Eknath Shinde said that whatever decision will be taken by the Prime Minister, Home Minister and the leadership of BJP and Mahayuti Alliance regarding the next Chief Minister will be fully acceptable to him and his party. He said that he will fully support the decision in this regard. Now, this has made one thing clear, that the next Chief Minister is going to be from the BJP. Devendra Fadnavis continues to be the front runner. Though the final decision is yet to be made, but as I said, Eknath Shinde's statement has made it clear that he is out of the race. He is not competing for the chief minister post anymore. Now, what's expected today? Today, the key leaders of Mahayuti Alliance, including Devendra Fadnavis and Eknath Shinde, are going to meet the top leadership of BJP in Delhi, including the Home Minister Amit Shah, and a final decision in this regard is likely to be taken in this meeting.
Okay, thanks so much for that, Zantia. But more updates on the political front. Jharkhand Mukti Morcha leader Hemant Soren will take oath as Jharkhand CM today, and this will be his fourth term as the chief minister. JMM-led INDIA alliance won a comfortable majority in the 81-member Jharkhand assemblies, winning 56 seats. Soren's party also recorded its best ever performance, winning 34 seats. Moving on, we also have the Congress leader Priyanka Gandhi Vadra has taken oath as the Lok Sabha MP. She was elected from Kerala's Wayanad by over 4 lakh votes, and the seat fell vacant after Rahul Gandhi vacated the seat in favour of Amethi. Soon after, she took oath and the Lok Sabha was adjourned until noon due to ruckus. And let's move on to some domestic update and the news now on the cyclone Fengal, which is expected to intensify within the next 24 hours, reaching wind speeds of up to 85 kilometers per hour. The Bay of Bengal cyclone is likely to weaken and make landfall as a deep depression along the Tamil Nadu and Pondicherry coast. Meanwhile, the NDRF and the Indian Navy are on standby for the rescue and relief efforts. Okay, time for a short break on that note, but don't go anywhere. More news and updates after this break. Welcome back to Business Lunch on CNBC-TV18, and moving on to some international news updates. A series of bomb threats were made to a number of U.S. President-elect Donald Trump, most prominent cabinet picks. Now, this has heightened the security concerns as Trump is set to take his post as the president early next year. The Federal Bureau of Investigation said that it was investigating the incident and said that they were working with the law enforcement partners to identify the suspects. Okay, and with that, we're absolutely out of time on this edition of Business Lunch on CNBC-TV18. Thank you so much for tuning in. Up next, your Mid-Cap Radar.
How did this idea of naming your company Noise come about?
Normally, you just get guided by the people, you know, aisa karna chahiye, waisa karna chahiye, you should try that and not this. So I think there's a lot of noise there. So ultimately, when you do things that you really love, gets you to the heights.
You don't come from a business family. You have no sort of entrepreneurial background. What made both of you start up?
In India, you look at it, there was only cheap Chinese knockoffs or brands like Apple, and I think BlackBerry was there.
And that's when we started thinking about why don't we get into a space which is more Indianized, yet premium, yet aspirational, and give that value to the consumer and give that experience of a global brand.
You know, around you, everybody is raising $1 billion or, you know, crazy amounts of money. Was there never a temptation?
For us, color of money is important. Maybe when Bose came in, actually. So maybe we could.
How did that happen?
Bose has never made such investments in the past. So we are the first consumer investment in the history of Bose also.
The other big trend that we're seeing in the startup ecosystem are companies IPOing. Any plans, any thoughts?
IPO is a milestone for any company, but I think we enjoy our freedom also.